Hi, it's your Gemini friend. This video is about North Node in Libra or North Node in the 7th house. The sun is changing a lot today, so if the lighting changes, it might be all over the place. But North Node in the 7th house or North Node in Libra. What you're going to do if you have it in one or the other, any combination of sign and house that you might have. The sign, it's more like personified. It's the way that the character is acting, the character being the North Node in that sign. The house is going to be more like the area of life. So for example, Libra as the personality, or the 7th house, relationships, partnerships, your relationship with people one-on-one, that committed energy. So if you want to know a little more about the North and South Node, I have a video in the description, but this one, honestly, it's a little bit rough to explain, so I'm very glad that this is my placement. I have North Node in the 7th house, so everything that I say today, it might be some tough love, because this one, absolutely nothing wrong with it, nothing wrong with you, but the main thing when your South Node is in Aries or the 1st house is that there's going to be a lot of natural focus just coming into life with this natural energy of the self. Very strong independence and self-focus, a natural self-focus, because Aries, it's the very first sign. I like to say that it's the baby. It's the initial energy. It's the energy that starts the entire zodiac. It's representative of birth. It's the newborn. And when you haven't encountered the world yet, the self is all you have. That's what Aries energy is all about. It's about self-confidence, self-assertion, building up the identity. But when it's your South Node placement, this indicates that you are too much in this energy and that you need to focus on 7th house or Libra energy in order to balance this out. And before I get started, I just want to let everyone know that I do offer personal readings. There's a link in the description always to my Etsy shop if you do want me to look at your own energies personally. But each individual person, your natal chart is going to be very specific to you. Some people have their placements kind of naturally set up to move more in the North Node direction. Some people have energies that really emphasize the South Node. So much of this is going to depend and vary in strength, just depending on who you are and your particular lessons in this life. But if your North Node is in the 7th house or it's in Libra, partnerships, focusing on other people, putting your attention towards other people and recognizing their needs is going to be the main goal with this one. Because you're here with a very strong sense of self, and that is meant to be empowering to other people. You have a very clear sense of what is right for you, kind of your own set of rules and the way that you do things. You're likely very comfortable asserting your opinions, your point of view. But this doesn't actually always indicate confidence within groups of people or just with other people in general, because this placement actually comes with a lot of innate loneliness. Because partnership is so important in this lifetime. It's really crucial to be able to connect with other people. So there is a strong internal drive to be with other people. This placement also indicates that you're going to have a lot of people come into your life. It's a pretty attractive one. It's Libra. It's romance, charm, balance, harmony, justice. This energy attracts lots of people so that you get lots of chances to explore the energy of selflessness. South Node in this Aries energy is incredibly competitive. This is like always looking to win, always totally ready to assert your just energy and self in general into situations that you feel confident in. And like that's the key here, because this confidence, it's innate, but at the same time you might find that you have misunderstandings or other people reacting to you in ways that you might not have expected, because what comes with this energy is so much self-focus typically that you're not necessarily thinking of how other people might think. Biggest thing here is going to be asking people questions, really getting into their thought process, their energy, their motivations, and understanding the differences that other people have and the usefulness of the differences in other people. Because what can come with this is assuming that your way is the best way and that you just need to tell people your way and then they'll get it done. Doesn't always work. It's really important to figure out what their motivations are, what is important to them, because where you're coming from, this can be like past lives in on the battlefield. It's Aries, it's that warrior type energy. So really one-track mind, focused on survival, and this can actually kind of alienate you from other people because you have this natural mentality that other people can be enemies. So a natural defensiveness can come with this. And I say this as somebody who has dealt with defensiveness so much in my life. Obviously, at this point, I have leaned really hard into the 7th house because I know I have to. But let me tell you, I have been an incredibly, especially early on in life, nothing wrong with having such a strong sense of self. It's really powerful, but it's going to be the most powerful in this lifetime if you don't isolate yourself and if you don't focus on your accomplishments. What comes with the partnership is that your accomplishments are going to be so much more satisfying and just go so much more smoothly when it's like a cooperative effort, when there are 2 or more people working together as a team. You're likely a good leader, but leadership without considering everyone's opinions obviously isn't going to be the best way of doing it. It's very important to be not judgmental, to just accept what people tell you about them without thinking that they're doing it wrong or assuming that your way is naturally the best way. Even if it is, that's still, it's your reality. Because this energy, it can be kind of harsh. There's a directness to Aries that is, it can be lacking in that softness, that Libra diplomacy, the need for harmony, considering everyone in the situation and what you can do to please everybody. It's lacking in nuance. Aries tends to see things as more black and white, right and wrong. So developing nuance, looking for gray areas and really embracing those, embracing opposite opinions even, is going to be really powerful here. Because this axis, Aries and Libra, it's like war and peace. It's a pretty intense one. And of course, when there's too much Libra, codependence is a thing. So too much Aries is going to be excessive independence. And another thing about the directness of Aries energy is that it's not a good liar. Aries, not good with lies. That doesn't mean that Aries energy people do not lie. It just means that it's incredibly uncomfortable for the energy. It's not a good thing to do. But when you have this warrior mentality, and if you are assuming that other people are enemies in some way, there can be a strong, just natural inclination to put up some sort of front, usually what you think that other people want to see. It's funny, it's kind of counterintuitive. You would think that honest, self-focused Aries is not going to be trying to be something that it's not. But something about this placement coming into life with this feeling like other people might be competitors, like you need to defend your position, this natural competitiveness, and the way that people tend to receive you from like early life and onwards, there can be a feeling like you're doing something wrong. Like people aren't responding the way that I expect them to. I'm just trying to be helpful. I want people to be better and do things the right way. So there can be a natural feeling like something's wrong with me. I must be doing something that's not working. So let's put on armor because we're a warrior to kind of hide that vulnerability, because when you are spending lifetimes fighting, vulnerability is not a desirable thing. And that's why partnership, really getting close to another person and understanding and being comfortable with them on a very, very close level, it can be hard. It can be hard to be vulnerable. It can especially be hard to share the parts of yourself that you might feel have been rejected. And something about this energy, it's pretty simple and straightforward, not simple in a stupid way, just like simple. It's direct. And there isn't necessarily a lot of thoughtfulness put into each and every specific interaction because it's very reactionary. So what I'm saying with this is that there could be patterns that you're not even picking up on, because every time you do this, you notice that this happens. So you think like, okay, this must be wrong. I must be doing something wrong. So let's like hide that part of me, not show it because people don't react to it well. And then this just emphasizes that like vulnerability is hard. But the isolating thing, the thing that tends to like alienate people from you is likely just this really strong energy of, it can be defensiveness, it can be like you're fighting and just using so much intensity, putting so much energy behind things that it just, some people can't take it. They're like, wow, okay, that person is a lot. You might feel like you're a lot. And of course, I don't want to tell anybody that they're too much. You're not too much. However, excessive focus on the self, on the way that you're coming across, on the way that people are reacting to you, that's just not going to help anybody. You can always get feedback. You can always ask people after a weird interaction, like, okay, I see you did this. What did I do that made you, like, how was this for you? Always go and ask people, what was your version of the situation? Because this can just be such an internally focused, natural disposition that we might forget sometimes that other people are actually thinking in an entirely different way from us. They have had a totally different life, totally different experiences, and they will arrive at a totally different point than we might expect them to. But the great thing about this energy is that once you know what to look for in other people, when you know what they value, and when you know what their motivations are, you actually have this incredible ability with the Libra energy in your North Node to see things more objectively and use that Libra sense of, okay, I see the situation, I see everyone involved, and I can actually see their weak points in a way. You have this ability to see where people struggle, and that's where the Aries superpower comes in, where you can pump them up. You can be like, hey, I see that this particular thing was hard for you. Do you think I can help? Just, whatever it is, you can recognize in other people where they're lacking. And if you go about it the right way, you can be the greatest coach, cheerleader type energy ever. That's why this role it's great for leadership, because you have that natural confidence. You just don't have the natural social ability necessarily. And in that way, this placement can be incredible for counseling, especially like diplomatic type things where you're marriage counseling, especially where you're taking two people, relationship counseling, and you're looking at the situation objectively and seeing each person's side and then making it work. Anything that you can do that's focused on bringing more harmony, more peaceful relationships into the world, those are going to be wonderfully fulfilling things. But start with yourself. Start with your relationship with other people and getting a natural feel of what other people are even like. Obviously, we're all mostly likely adults here, so we probably don't have issues with like temper tantrums like Aries energy is known for anymore. But as a child, me for sure, anger issues can come with this placement. An overly intense attitude, even just speaking very loudly and intimidating people, that's what comes with this. So that's just something to watch. But really, really important thing is to not be ingenuine. That focus on vulnerability is very important. It's just that you likely have to get to a place where other people recognize, okay, they're not just about themselves. They are interested in me too. They want to know my perspective. And that is what gets people to soften up to you. And then you're able to figure out which people are going to be the ones that you are able to be vulnerable with and show your real true self to. This really doesn't indicate that you're hiding a lot. It's just that consider that Aries is associated with the ascendant and, initiations, birth, just really first energy. So it can be not shallow, but more just focused on that reaction, the initial reaction of things. And in that way, in certain situations, it can be kind of childish, just like having that initial impulse to consider yourself, consider how you were hurt, consider what it did to you. Just make sure that even if you cycle through that first, you're definitely going to the other person next and trying to see things from their point of view. Put yourself in other people's shoes. Try to imagine how it felt to have that interaction on the other side. Because there really can be a tendency with this to get caught up in the delivery and then to feel like you need to fight for your right to be seen even. This can extra come with feeling like parts of you aren't allowed to be seen. And like I said, this energy can be naturally kind of lonely. You might really seek relationships or other people to be close to, but the more you want other people to see you, the more pressure it can feel like to hide your flaws or perceived flaws. But it is the most empowering thing you can do to reveal the parts that you're afraid to show. So the way to overcome this in this lifetime in particular is to really go all in and focus on empowering other people, on recognizing what you like about them, letting them know, making them feel more confident. The more energy that you put into other people's identity, because your identity, whether this placement doesn't really indicate whether or not your sense of identity is going to be particularly, your sense of identity specifically is going to be strong because of the confusion that can come from interactions with other people. But there is that really strong core self-assurance that you can get from yourself, that you at least know that what is right for you is absolutely right for you, no question about that. So that sureness, you can help other people achieve that same level of sureness within themselves. Even if they are entirely different from you, they think and believe differently, it's in recognizing that every person is the way they are for a reason, and we really need everybody. We need the combination of all of the energies in order to have the balance. Just collectively, as a society, we need all parts. So what you value, it could be bold, confident self-assertion. That could be valuable to you. So there could be a tendency, just as an example, to undervalue more meek personalities. But you can get something out of every person. Everybody has their wonderful qualities and their energy that they bring into the world that's necessary. So by focusing on differences and really accepting those differences and really embracing them and encouraging them in their differences, that is going to be really, really good for you. Because what you get to see is, okay, I didn't even agree with this way of being, but look, they're so much happier now. They feel like they like themselves more, and in turn I'm getting positive energy from them too. They are now supporting me. They feel encouraging to me. That's what you get in return, but it can't be for that. You can't focus on other people with the motivation of getting their appreciation. You really have to focus intentionally on building them up, on making them feel better. And the appreciation will come, and it will come so much more than you expect there to be even. You'll get more than what you wanted, so long as your intentions are pure. So long as You're focused on building up the individuality of the person. So empathy and like really learning to speak other people's language, very important. Notice little details about them. Pay more attention to what they are giving to the relationship, because self-focus, this can be kind of a tendency to keep score of things, to notice, okay, I've given this, they should give this back. That's not gonna work. The more selflessly you can give, the more you can give, expecting absolutely nothing in return, because this balances your competitive energy that I want to win. I want to be the one who wins. That by letting the other person win, it's not winning, it's just allowing them to be them the same way that you would like yourself to be allowed to be you. And if you do want to pay attention to who's doing what in the relationship, pay attention to what they do for you and be really grateful. Be appreciative. Thank them all the time. Recognize very openly, I see that you did this for me. Thank you for doing that for me. The more attention you can put on other people's efforts, other people's strong points, building them up, that's going to be just really satisfying for your soul, because your support, it's incredibly powerful. You have an incredible ability to support people and make them feel so solid and so like they have somebody that's on their side. And that's what endears people to you. In this lifetime, being pushy about your way is never going to work. The more alternative opinions that you can consider, the better. Another thing about Aries energy is impulsiveness and impatience. So people with a lot of this energy, I'm an Aries rising, I get it, we're impatient. We don't necessarily enjoy the process the way that we should. So anytime that you can just relax, Libra, Venus, luxuriating, just enjoy the process. Get in the moment, get present, and recognize with your senses what right now can I enjoy about right now. Yes, I haven't achieved my goal yet, but I'm on the way, and really enjoying the journey is an important thing with this. Because Libra, it enjoys things. It socializes to socialize. It loves to love. Focus on love energy. Focus on emphasizing whatever your Venus sign is. Really embrace that Venus energy in your life. And speaking of Venus, okay, love, relationships, of all of the nodal placements that you could have, this one, Libra, 7th house, focuses on partnership the very most. This placement is almost the one exception to when I say everyone is whole and complete on their own. You are too. But the thing is, you already know it. So by spending this lifetime really merging with another person, and by merging, I mean more like using your competitive energy to have a mutual goal. Working with a partner, having the partnership, a successful partnership, be your goal. These are all significant things. It's very likely that you are a natural romantic, somebody who is looking for love. And in your case, as long as you are doing it the right way, a relationship is actually going to be so significant for your growth, because when you love somebody and you are willing to commit to them and do life together, this is like, it takes that natural warrior competitive mentality and it allows you to extend this strong energy to another person. You're able to strengthen the relationship, strengthen the other person, and combine your forces in a way that neither of you would likely be able to combine your forces and achieve things that the two of you wouldn't be able to do on your own. I really do have a hard time saying you need to have a partner in this lifetime. I really don't want to say that about anybody. I think that everyone is on their own very personal journey, and you have your specific energies and goals and situations and partnership as a goal. Being in a relationship as a goal isn't necessarily what I would recommend specifically. The goal should be that you are able to coexist and cooperate with other people, even if this is more of a lifetime of like being someone on a team, being someone who works within a community with other people. It's the significance of being yourself amongst the other people and using your energy to strengthen the team. Basically just using your strong internal energy outwards. That's going to be the most important thing. However, traditionally, this really does indicate that energy of love, romance, partnership is going to be really soothing and healing for you, so long as you are going about it in the way that is mutually empowering. Don't give away your power. Don't use all of your energy to overgive to other people. That's not what I'm saying. But the focus should be on mutual, on give and take, but not in a taking stock kind of way. It's in giving of yourself what you can that improves the situation for the other person, and in turn receiving the approval and validation that your soul does crave. Because you know you're amazing, you know you're great, but having other people not tell you that, it can actually be kind of painful. So building up strong relationships, romantic or otherwise, where you are encouraging other people, that's the goal. It's just that romantic partnerships are really strong ways to do this. They're kind of the ultimate mutual energy connection, because when you're committed to someone, you're spending every part of your life with them. You're really combining your lives. You're combining your goal. And any goals that you have, if you're working with other people, that's what's going to get you so much further than you could ever be on your own. Because you have the strength to get further than most people could on their own, but you do have the determination to achieve massive things on your own. But don't you want to go way further with it and have that wonderful mutual support? Because you are so supportive. You have such an incredible ability to support other people, but it hurts to not get that back. It's just that in this lifetime, in order to get that back, you're going to need to give first. And you have to give selflessly. You have to give very genuinely and in the way that other people can feel and just naturally sense that you really do care. So get curious about other people and get vulnerable with them. Use that honest nature to just be honest, not in a way that hurts other people. Always consider your thoughts before you speak them. That impulsive energy can definitely be a think before you act, think before you speak type of thing. But your honesty in situations where you do feel vulnerable, or you feel like you're the one who needs the support, by just revealing that in a very open, earnest way, other people can absolutely appreciate that. It makes you more relatable. I know that you likely want to have this strong armor and seem like you're the support system for everybody. You're so capable, you don't need any help. No, if you want help, you're gonna have to show people that you do need help. So things other than relationships that can help build this energy: team sports, working within a team with other people, like, you know, any traditional job. Team focused things where you're sharing the victory. That's really key here, because you're not meant to be the only winner in this lifetime. You're meant to share the win. And one thing about other people, and when you're asking them questions and being more open with them, they can tell you things about you that you didn't know, because you likely have a very solid sense of who you are or who you want to appear to be. Rising sign, Aries, first house, all of that. And other people actually might not be receiving you the way that you intend to project. So finding out how they are seeing you, learning things that you might not have known about yourself from other people, can be very, very valuable. And, you know, when it comes to this impulsive energy, one thing that you do want to avoid is jumping into relationships, because there is that innate sense of like just wanting somebody to be there for and to be there for you. That's a really strong impulse. So you might feel inclined to just get into relationships with people who are interested. That's why it's going to be really important to be a really good judge of what's going to work for you. Be really upfront about things. But one big thing with this energy, this steamroller energy, the passion that comes from behind the words, is that sometimes in your delivery, you might come across as a bit pushy, and other people might be like, oh wow, they really care about this. Okay, I think I'll just go along with what they're saying. And you don't want them to do that. You want to get the real genuine version of them. And they deserve the real genuine version of you. So try to get their version before you tell them how you want it to be. Just in case, you know? Best thing is if they seem to be on the same track as you, if they have similar goals to you, especially if they say it before you did, that is a sign that things are going to go well. But you really have to get to know the person, and you have to let the person get to know you before you want to commit to things. Take it slow, enjoy the process. And another thing that comes with having such natural self-validation skills, not everybody is like that. You might feel like it's patronizing to say something to somebody, maybe to encourage them, like, oh, you did that really good. You're gonna be like, that sounds kind of patronizing. They might think I'm just trying to make them feel better. But the thing is that like most people don't interpret these things in that way that you do, and they're probably going to appreciate it. Because you likely don't just hand out compliments. You might. That can go one way or the other with this, but it is likely that you're known for bluntness. So to receive a compliment or some very constructive, helpful, coming from a very kind, building them up place, that can mean so much to somebody, especially coming from someone that they know is telling the truth. And in that same way, when you are communicating things, try, especially when you're one-on-one with somebody, to use that Libra desire for harmony, and don't be too blunt about things. Decorum, tact, where we are figuring out how to say something in a way that it will still come across, but we're definitely not going to hurt their feelings. Just try to soften things up a little bit. I'm like doing like a sanding motion. Sand down like your initial impulse of what you want to say. Make it softer. Unless you know that the person isn't going to appreciate that. Obviously, be yourself, but recognize when being yourself fully with the entire fiery explosion behind it isn't going to be the best way of going about the situation. Just assess. That's why it's really important to pay attention to people, because everybody's different and we love these differences. We want to celebrate these differences and embrace these differences and allow people to be fully themselves the way that you want to be fully yourself. The ideal team is where everybody, you know their strengths and weaknesses. They know your strengths and weaknesses. And everybody has their place where they're supporting the person who needs their support, really understanding the situation and harmonizing it, using everybody's strengths and weaknesses to support where they need to go. That is ideal. And if you are in a leadership position on a team or something, I just think coaching would be like really good for this. Do not be stingy with the compliments. Just give them out. If you notice something about somebody, tell them directly. If you notice that they need work in some area, don't tell them directly. Think about it, maybe run it by somebody else and figure out the best, most helpful, supportive, build them up type of way that you can say it. It's a fine line here because you have a lot of power behind your words, And you can always make or break something in that way. So it's important to be really careful about what you do say. And never be afraid to apologize if necessary. Because I know personally it's often necessary to apologize with an impulsive energy. And the last thing I really want to emphasize this is sharing. Mine versus ours. This is a big mine position. And that is why partnership is just such a good energy for this, because in a partnership, in a committed relationship especially, you are sharing things. Shared goals, of course, but you're sharing a home, you're sharing a bed, you're sharing all sorts of things. The more that you can share, the more that you can be like, this is not mine, this is ours. Sorry, that sounded stupid. It's so dark. The more that you can be willing to give up and allow it to be both of yours. It's just a really good way to go about things, to balance your energy. So now that the light has, I'm sorry about the light. I did not expect it to get this dark. It is the middle of the day. But thank you so much for listening to this. Let me know your experiences, placements, feedback, whatever, any videos that you want me to make, topics you'd like me to focus on. I appreciate all of that. Please feel free to like, subscribe, whatever you want. I love you. Bye.